Are you a niche business and you're finding it challenging to market to your target customers? Well, we have the answers for you. We talked with Bad Animal today, and they have 3 fantastic tips for those niche businesses out there that find it a little bit of a struggle getting people through the door because they just don't get it. So stay tuned. Here we go. Come on in, let's go. Okay, we are at Bad Animal today. We're in downtown Santa Cruz, and we're here to talk with the co-owners, Andrew and Jess, and here they are. Hey. Hello. Guys,
hi,
welcome.
Bryce. Good to see you.
Yeah,
how are you?
Welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you on.
Good to be here.
Yeah, and thank you to the SBDC for really getting this interview together and setting this up. So with that said, I want to hear a little bit about your business so you can tell the viewers at home how you've essentially taken 3 kind of niche businesses and compacted it into one successful business.
Sure. Well, as an overview, Bad Animal is a natural wine bar, California French restaurant, and independent used bookshop with over 10,000 titles.
Indeed. Yeah, we like to think of ourselves as more than the sum of our parts. We're really oriented around people's experience when they come into the shop. So we hope that there's a little bit of atmosphere and people can incorporate all of these disparate elements. So booking a glass of wine, maybe people come out just for a meal. But we're excited to give you a look behind the scenes at Bad Animal and provide some takeaways for niche businesses. But before all that, we really want to convey our heartfelt thanks to the people at the SBDC for all of the help they gave us in launching Bad Animal and making it a reality. In particular, this fabulous gentleman right here, Mr. Bryce Root.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys.
Of course.
Always fun working with you guys. And for all of you viewers out there, they've done a spectacular job. So pay close attention to the tips coming up next. I think Jess here has a fantastic tip for all you niche business owners out there. So what do you have for us, Jess?
Sure. Our first tip, being a niche business that we are, is to stay true to your brand. When we were opening, we talked to a lot of people who thought, whoa, that's a pretty crazy idea. You're going to put a bookshop with a restaurant inside and a wine bar. That's a lot of things. And, along the way, we've found one of the most important things in terms of marketing and selling the business is to just really stay true to our conviction about what makes us special and not back down on any of those things. And the wine-specific thing that makes us special is that we are an exclusively natural wine bar. And some people, that's a new concept.
Yeah, totally. For a lot of people.
Right. So there is definitely an educational component on that front. I think most people, once they learn about what we're doing, they absolutely get on board. But we're definitely doing some work to kind of bring people on board with the natural wine movement. And staying true to that has been one of the most important things that we've done on the wine side.
Excellent. I've noticed just in looking at your Instagram and just paying attention to all that you're doing, that the winemakers themselves, they have just great brands to their name. It's a lot of collaboration between you and them.
Yes,
and they're helping educate the region.
Absolutely. The winemakers that we work with are really passionate about what they do. And part of what's important to us about having a natural wine bar is being able to support these people who are artisans and who are doing amazing work, and often kind of small production. They're not distributed, by a huge company. They're really putting in a lot of legwork on their own, and it's really important to us to highlight those winemakers who are doing such important work. Fantastic.
Okay, so take that tip to heart. That's a really, really good one for you guys. Okay, so we're on to tip number 2, and we're here with Andrew. What do you have for the viewers at home?
Okay, so I think especially when you're getting started, it's important to be both strategic and tactical at the same time. So you want to develop a long-range plan, as we devised in the early going. And that requires a lot of forethought and a lot of patience, but you also want to be tactical. So especially if you have a niche business like ours, where you're really trying to convey something about what it is you're trying to provide to the community. As Jess mentioned, education is a strong component. So every opportunity you have to get out there and build brand exposure and detail a little bit more about the narrative, how the business works, is really important. So develop a long-term plan, but also be flexible enough to seize on opportunities as they arise.
Excellent. Fantastic advice. And be sure to check out their Instagram. The writing, which I think you're the person behind a lot of that.
I might have something to do with it.
Stellar. Like their branding just it comes on out like 24/7. It's so engaging and just fun to read. So everything that you just mentioned is spot on. So great tip number 2. Let's go on to the next tip. Excellent.
Welcome to the Rare Bookseller.
This is fantastic.
The inner sanctum of Bad Animal.
Man, well, I think this is a perfect setting for our last tip from you guys. So for those niche businesses out there, what's the big tip you have for them?
The most important thing for us in the early months at Bad Animal is making sure that we don't forget customer experience. Mm-hmm. So we have our long-range strategy for how things should be developed and presented at Bad Animal, but at the end of the day, nothing is more helpful than a positive customer experience, and nothing is more catastrophic than a negative one. Because we're a niche business, we're already dealing with a very small demographic inside of a very small town. Yeah. So if we do have negative feedback, it can pollute our customer base in a pretty wild way. And in the same way, if people come in and they hear about the shop and they have a really positive experience, then all of a sudden that word of mouth spreads and we've got a tremendous marketing asset.
That's fantastic. For many of you out there, you're probably dealing with a similar situation, so you nailed it. That's fantastic advice. Whether you're a new business or you've been in business for a few years or even maybe decades, that's fantastic. Okay, guys, I want to thank both Jess and Andrew for just a fantastic interview. Lots of great tidbits for all you business owners out there that have a niche business that you're working with. And also I want to thank the Small Business Development Center for being our presenting sponsor and helping this interview happen. So thank you guys, and if you're looking to learn more, you can check out bryceroot.com. We have a vlog, a blog, as well as a podcast, so check that out. And if you're on YouTube right now, you can actually tap these other buttons and keep watching some other videos. So stay tuned, and thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Bryce.
Thank you, bro.
Hospitality off the charts. Love it here at Bad Animal. So stay tuned. More interviews coming up next.